Hi, students. And I apologize for we're not able to meet a while back because of the orientation for my examination tomorrow. Wish me luck. I hope I pass that so that I proceed with writing my study with writing my thesis and then eventually graduate from my master's degree. Okay, so I'll be sharing my PowerPoint now. This is the last PowerPoint under chapter 1 class, and then after this, you will be having your first ever chapter quiz next week. Okay, so during our face-to-face, we'll be having our a quiz for 20 minutes, and then we will check it for another 20 minutes, and then 10 minutes recording. And for the rest of the time, since 2 hours naman yung face-to-face natin, we will begin right away with the discussion of our chapter 2. Okay, so maganda sana itong PowerPoint na ito for points of recitation kasi communication, um, ethics and principles ang mga ito. Yan, principles of communication. So what I did to the other section was per principle or per ethics, I let a volunteer to explain, and then of course point of recitation. Okay, and then I also asked them to read some of their answers dun sa activity natin, dun sa essay questions yung 5. So perhaps we will also do that kapag face-to-face na tayo, okay? So for now, I have to discuss this, I have to finish this para hindi unfair sa inyo. Matapos natin yung buong chapter 1 ng pulido, nang walang naiiwan before you take your first ever chapter quiz, okay? So first and foremost here are your principles of communication. So first off, it says here, it is an interaction situation wherein the participants are affected by each one's behavior. So let's take the first point here, that it is an interaction situation. So it is an interaction situation because there are people who are interacting with one another, communicating with one another, but please take note that we also learned that communication can exist in only one person. So this happens when he is contemplating, when he is under decision making, realizing things, yan, nagmumuni-muni, communication pa rin yun within her inner self. Okay, interaction pa rin naman yun. So wherein the participants are affected by each one's behavior because we have what we call psychological barrier, when wherein others' perceptions can really affect the communication process, or each one's behavior will fall under a cultural barrier because culture means a set of beliefs, behavior, yan, behavioral patterns, values, and food preferences, language, food, etc. of a person. So, syempre, yung ugali or behavior, kilos ng isang tao, nakakaapekto yan sa komunikasyon. So, that's the first principle. It's basically just a repetition of all those things that we have learned. This is also a review. I think this slide covers your true or false doon sa first ever chapter quiz ninyo. Okay, for number 2, one does communicate, or in other statement, you cannot not communicate. Yun ang ibig sabihin niyang one does communicate. Ang isang tao ay nakikikomunika, hindi pwede na hindi because yung no response niya ay yun na mismo yung kanyang response. Okay? One does communicate, whether you remain to be silent, whether you remain to be idle, or choose not to talk, choose not to speak, and choose not to move. Your immobility, your silence, your being tacit will mean something, and which would be interpreted by the one that you're communicating with, and that's already your form of communication. Hindi ka pwedeng hindi makikomunika. Kahit na wala kang sabihin, yun na mismo yung communication mo. Okay, for number 3, this is very interesting. I wish to hear from all of you when we conduct our classes face to face. So the message received is not necessarily the message sent. Why? Because nga, different participants in the communication may have varying perspectives because we are unique, we are all individuals, so every individual is unique. That is why we have to understand each. So yung sinabi ko, that's actually a mantra of be a psych students. Ayan, sabi nila lahat tayo ay may unique na personality, unique na pag-iisip, kaya kailangan lang natin na intindihin ang bawat isa. So dito sa number 3, tama ito na hindi necessarily yung ipinadala ay yun din yung naintindihan mismo ng receiver because we have varying perceptions nga. Okay, what could be our differences? Our differences could be in the level of our intelligence, yun yung understanding natin, yung educational background natin, yung cultural background natin, diyan tayo nagkakaroon ng diferensya. Kaya yung dating ng isang mensahe sa atin ay iba-iba rin yung interpretation natin based on our individual contexts. So when we say context, this could be our past experiences, ayan, or our preference, or kung ano man yung ibig sabihin nun para sa atin lang. And doesn't necessarily mean similar with other person. Okay, for number 4, communication occurs simultaneously at more than one level. Okay, kung na-experience ninyo ito, when you are talking with someone, you can actually also open your phone and then have a conversation with different person, or kapag ka nag-interrupt at may sumakay sa inyong communication, ayan. So communication can occur simultaneously at more than one level, or in a conversation between you and the person that you're talking with, yung topics ninyo minsan ay sanga-sanga na, ayan. So simultaneously occurring at more than one level. Okay, class. So here are other principles of interpersonal communication naman. We have it is inescapable. Because nga we have no choice, we always communicate, ayan. Hindi natin siya puwedeng i-escape, hindi puwede na hindi tayo naki-communicate, we always communicate, okay? It is irreversible because it cannot be taken back, especially spoken communication. When you have uttered something, when you have said something, you cannot really take that back. So what do we say? Be careful before you open your mouth, ayan. Well, also in written, the more in written actually, ang written nga very critical yan because anything that is written or that is in a form of a document could be subjected to court rulings. So be careful tayo pagdating sa written kasi black and white yan. Pwede nilang panghawakan against sa'yo. Irreversible, you cannot take it back. Okay, number 3, it's complicated because of it is made complicated because of the barriers. Alam niyo yan, ang dami nating enumerate na barriers noong nagsisimula pa lang ang chapter 1 that is what makes communication complicated. And aside from that, the channels, it can also be complicated. And then lastly, number 4, it's contextual. It depends on the psychological, situational, environmental, relational, and cultural backgrounds of the speakers. Okay, so I hope na I'm explaining each of these principles very well and I'm not very fast. Pwede nyo naman din siyang balik-balikan na lang kapag may hindi kayo naiintindihan. Okay, so we're down to the second to the last slide na, ethics of communication. Enumeration lang ito ng mga dapat at hindi natin dapat gawin. Number 1, seek to elicit the best in communications and interactions with other group member. Number 2, listen when others speak. Ibig sabihin, you should also give time for the person that you are talking with to also have his or her turn in speaking. Hindi lang yung ikaw yung bida, pakinggan mo din naman siya. So kapag ka nagsasalita siya, makinig ka, hindi lang ikaw dapat yung nagsasalita. Okay, number 3, speak non-judgmentally, avoid prejudices because it could hamper effectivity in communication. It could hamper good communication because wala pa kayong pinag-uusapan, may judgment ka na. For example, you're talking to an Indian or anyone, tapos ang nasa isip mo ay yung kanyang hygiene o yung kanilang food sa India na ayaw mo, malamang kapag ganyan na yung nasa utak mo, hindi mo papaniwalaan yung sinasabi niya, ayan, nagju-judge ka na, may mga prejudices ka na, okay? So number 4, speak from your own experience and perspectives, expressing your own thoughts, needs, and feelings, but number 5, you also have to seek to understand others. So you have, of course, um you have the liberty to speak from your own experience and perspective, because that is who you are, that is what you are, that is your belief and values. For example, those are your experiences. You're free to express them. But number 5, you also have to seek to understand others. And also, again, number 2, we go back to number 2, you also have to listen to others. Okay? And number 6, avoid speaking for others. O ito, nakakatuwa ito nung tinanong ko yung mga fellow students ninyo, kung naririnig niyo yung mga magulang ninyo, especially our moms. Ako, nasabihan na ako nito, when I was in around 10 to 12 or 14 years old. May kausap yung nanay ko tapos bigla akong sisingit or makikisaba. And then pag-alis ng bisita, sabihin ako ng nanay, papaloyin ako ng nanay ko na, "Sika, agka misasalaok, no wali katungtong ko." Gano'n. So, misasalaok. Um, nakiki sama sa discussion or nakikisawsaw, ayan. But, I think that's what the meaning of number 6, parang nag-advance yata ako dun. Number 9 yun, eh, yung avoid interrupting and side conversations. Yun yung, naintindihan ko sa number 6, medyo advance na tayo, okay? So number 9 yun, yung wag kang misasalaok. Pero yung number 6, avoid speaking for others, yung phrase natin na "in behalf of", ayan, you only use that if you made sure that you have consolidated or you have gotten the consensus of the body. Ibig sabihin na-consult mo, you have consulted with each member of the group, with all the members of the group before saying "in behalf of", or if not all, at least, the majority of the group para sabihin mong "in behalf of", okay? Not really majority, but it should be more than half, or dapat may isa lang na iba ang pananaw para sabihin mo na "in behalf of", okay? Be careful with that. Do not speak for others. Kapagka irerepresent mo ang isang grupo, kailangan mong i-consolidate kung ano yung isa-isa nilang opinyon, at kapagka sila ay nagkasundo naman sa iisa, then you can say that, "In behalf of the group, I am in favor of", or "We are not in favor of", et cetera, okay? Avoid speaking for others because you may not know what he or she really wants. You may not know what is inside his or her brain, or you cannot exactly explain what it is that she has in mind. Okay? Number 7, manage your own personal boundaries. Share only what you are comfortable sharing. So not everything is meant to be shared, class. Remember this. Apply all our learnings in our real life. Ayan. Okay, there are times that call for our silence. There are also times that call for our bravery to speak up, okay? So perfect timing yan, and decision making then, perhaps how you assess things, if you are smart enough to assess things. Kung sa tingin mo kailangan kang magsalita, go on. Kung sa tingin mo mas maganda ang pananahimik kaysa sa pananalita, piliin mo yung pananahimik, okay? Not everything is meant to be shared. Number 8, respect the personal boundaries of others. Of course, if you want yours to be respected, you also have to respect the boundaries of others. What does this mean? Do not ask uncomfortable questions, and if you ever did, at the person that you are asking refuse to answer, wag mong pilitin, okay? Respect the personal boundaries of others. Kapagka hindi siya komportableng sagutin ang mga tanong mo na ang purpose mo lang naman ay makichika at hindi ka talaga concerned, wag mo nang ituloy, okay? Because that is unethical as far as communication is concerned. At dahil na inaaral na natin 'to, dapat ina-apply niyo na rin siya in real life, okay? Number 9, yung sinabi ko, "'Ag kang misasalaok", sabi ng mga nanay natin, avoid interrupting and side conversations. And then lastly, make sure that everyone has time to speak in connection to number 2, listen when others speak. Okay, I think this is the last slide. True or false ang mga items natin dito, so pag-aralan ninyo. Very short lang, magiging 1 hour ito kapagka kanina nag-meet tayo. Siyempre, I will ask for your explanations, for your opinions, for your experiences that you would like to share in the class. Ayan, sige. Uulitin naman natin siya 'pag face to face, papasadaan pa rin 'yan kasi hindi ako papayag na hindi ko marinig yung mga explanation niyo diyan. I just did this para hindi kayo lugi, at para matapos natin ng pulido, walang natira sa chapter 1 natin before you have your quiz. Okay, so that is it for this evening, my virtual, not virtual, my imaginary students. Have a very good night. God bless all of you.